Sorry, man, but ladies and gentlemen, I just cannot make short little videos, chop and cut my footage up. I just can't do it. I don't know why. I just always feel like I got to show the whole 9 yards. Um, and the whole only reason why is because I want people to learn uh, the same way that I'm learning, and that's visually through observations. And if you noticed in the first part, how low I had my camera and how it was cutting off the boats. Um, and then I'm going to show, I should have showed this footage on the last part or the first part where my camera was set up. I think you kind of got the hint from when I walked around and set it down, but you probably didn't know how high I had it set. I got it at the 28 inches. It's right at the water line, or right at the edge of the water. So, I'm not trying to lie or cheat. Even with my cell phone, you can see this. Um, you could call that a diffraction line, a refraction line. It's light reflecting off of the water molecules in the air. Like I say, it causes this mirroring effect, and it does hide objects farther distance. It distorts them. It compresses things, and it causes all kinds of optical effects. Now, I'm going to let some of this audio run, and then I might chime in again. I don't know. I like to pick things out and show people things. So I'll just talk through some of it. Okay, here's the footage coming up. Um, and you'll notice how, when I was further to the left or further toward the south, toward the Hernando Beach Islands, everything was mirroring out. Well, as I move away, a lot of those channel markers for Hernando Beach move away from me too, so I am looking out farther and farther. Now, you remember the one boat that was being chopped off, and then you look at this boat, and you can see that these guys are perfectly in the water. And it is a much smaller boat compared to that huge boat that was having the whole rear end chopped off of it, or the whole bottom end chopped off of it. And that was at a little over 4.84 miles, because that's how far that one point is from me from Pine Island to the Hernando Beach. I'm always filming that little gap in between the big island, and sometimes you can see the land perfectly clear, and then sometimes it's all mirrored out in the mirroring. And this is why I say this mirroring blocks, it obscures, and it really covers up. It hides objects. I mean, man, I gotta say, I feel like I've lost a lot of subs. I feel like I'm losing friends too. It's like people that used to talk to me, or comment to me on a daily basis, or whenever I put out a video. I hardly hear anybody anymore, and it just kind of it discourages me that the views are down, comments are down, and I spent a lot of not only time but money, and then sitting down to put these things together is is really not easy either. Even though I could just put up the regular audio and just let it go, but like I said, I have to talk over some of this because I misidentified the Cutter's Rock rack with the Billy Steels rack, and the Hernando Beach rack with the Billy Steels rack. Um, but obviously, when you start looking at the birds, the size of the people in the boat, you see the birds that are up close or damn near the size of the guys in the boat. Um, and before, when you were seeing birds fly by, you'd see them mirror and they'd fly in, and they were just flying into the mirroring, which is crazy. But obviously, this mirroring effect is having a major impact on our visibility and how we see things. It is a blocker. It obscures things. But this is where, I don't understand why um, people disregard my persistent work. Obviously, you can see this guy's motor. You can see the back of the boat. You can see this boat perfectly in the water. Actually, you can start seeing again how that water is transforming into the mirroring effect. Later on, even if I turn up the light, you'll start seeing this diffraction line, refraction line. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but it's light reflecting off the water, reflecting upwards too, because it can't reflect down, and it's sure not. Um, you don't see David Copperfield out there pulling that boat out of his hat, pulling it up over the curve. I wish I could put on some kind of animation of David Copperfield pulling out a fucking boat out of his hat. Um, but maybe too, some people may have turned away because of my religious beliefs, which I don't try to push any kind of religion or push my belief on anybody as far as religious beliefs go, because I think that's a personal matter. It's between you and God. It's not between you, God, and everybody in the damn world, because there's a lot of people that will take advantage of that situation or take advantage or try to shame you for your beliefs. So I don't like that. I don't like people calling me the son of Satan and stupid crap like that, because I sure am not no son of Satan. I am a God-believing man. I believe in creation, and I believe we were put here for a reason. And I even think that a lot of my work is really inspired more by God than anybody. But I'm having a little clash with if I'm putting all this time in and I get very few views, very few comments, but then see how um, I don't know. I guess maybe some of my content is being taken and used by other people. Um, I I have seen that with several different channels, I should say. Which again, I had no problem with anybody using my footage. I've never had any issues with that. Um, I did ask that if somebody does use my footage, that they notify me, let me know, so I can see what kind of work that they did with it. Whether I approve of it or not, it really shouldn't matter. But um, if I disapprove, I can just give you a thumbs down on it. Um, some trolls have used my stuff. I tried to copyright somebody on it. And of course, YouTube is like, nah, we ain't going to let you give them a strike. But, they'd probably let them strike me if I use some of their stuff. Um, so I just don't fool around with the trolls. I don't debate the people. And again, I think my observations speak for themselves. Um, and I think my explanations work well too. Um, Again, um, there's certain things that I like to keep personal. Um, I don't really show my identity too much, even though I have in the past. Only because I definitely don't want to become famous. I don't do this for fame, fortune, or money. Uh, I mean, I do it because I'm actually learning from them myself, and I really like to offer and share my observations with other people to see if they can, either give me some of their advice, give me some of their thoughts on what they see. It's not always about, what I say. I mean, I never tell anybody to believe what I say. I just tell them, look at the observations. I mean, light, look at the way the light hits the water here and changes, the way the light's coming into the camera. Everything gets hazed out and changes. Um, Also, the amount of light that you add to your camera up and down changes, but you can still see that haze that's out there. I love these sun dogs, and there was one part in here, I don't know if I've already passed it, where I was talking to somebody up on the deck um, about the sun dogs, and we talked about the chemtrails. Um, so I will put that. I'll try to put that in the video somewhere. Hopefully, it doesn't completely mess it up. I'm hoping not. Right here, I'm having some issues with um, focusing because I was trying to manual focus on something up close. But check this out. Now, once I get it focused, look at that. And I'm going, wow. And I'm laughing. I am literally laughing because it's like I know that that boat is quite a ways away from the other boat, just in the size of the people or the guy on the boat. And I can also tell that this boat is leading away from me. It's not coming toward me. It's going away. So the farther away this boat gets, the smaller it gets. The smaller it gets, um, the harder it is to, again, resolve the edge of the visible water plane and the boat itself, because it's on that, um, the mirroring edge. It's on the edge. It's not on the edge of the curve. It's on the edge of the diffraction line, right where it's starting to mirror at. But again, I tell you, I watch these boats traveling on that same water line just get smaller and smaller. That tells me then that my whole horizon is being compressed, especially when you see these boats that are really so small, but they're underneath the lowest post on the Bayport rack. That actually is almost impossible, even if Earth was a ball. So it's telling me. I mean, I don't know what it's telling you, but it's telling me that the entire horizon gets compressed. Is it due to everything being magnified? Quite possibly, because look at the size of the boat too. Should it be quite that big? I mean, that's the thing. Look at the size of these boats. These are pretty good sized boats, especially the two that just went by. That's a good sized boat, probably 60 to 80 feet long. These aren't little short boats. These are either big crab boats or shrimp boats. Usually you can tell the shrimp boats because they got their rigs up with their nets. This guy looks like it might be a crab boat, going out to pick up his crab traps. You can't really tell. But watch as he gets into the light. That's one of the things that I look at. Watch how that light reacts to the boat itself and actually to the camera. Because when I get into the light, the background gets dark. So then I got to brighten up the screen with the compensation exposure. And then when I do, you can see that light starting to reflect off the water more, causing kind of a diffraction line. But you can see it, how it's blocking out the boat. Now wait till it gets to the other side of this. This is the beam of light coming from the sun, where the sun's hitting the water and streaming all the way back to me. And this is what's interesting about the angle of light. You know, I've been talking about it for years. I guess people just brush it off like I'm just some dumb flat earther with a camera, with a magical camera that sees around curves. Yeah, I bought this thing especially for looking around curves, folks. But I'm also fascinated with this, with these, sun dogs. You see the sun dog?
The what?
The sun dog.
The paddler?
No, to the left, up in the sky.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
They call that a sun dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you notice, what it's reflecting off of is all the plane trails. The plane trails, it'll follow them, and it reflects off of them.
Oh, that's cool. I never knew that.
I wonder what's in them plane trails.
For it, yeah, for it to reflect like that.
Some people say they're spraying us like bugs.
I know.
Some people say it's just,
the air.
yeah, air. It's water, moisture. I don't know what it is, but
You know, we could.
I know I see a lot of it sometimes.
From the airplane yesterday, you could see it from above. There were jets below us, and you could see it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty neat.
It's crazy stuff. Wow, that is really reflecting. Okay, I think this was pretty funny. This was with my cell phone, but it's a little long, but I thought I'd stick it in there because conversing with some of the other people that are there at the park. Yeah. Still mirrored out, miraged out. That is a sun dog.
It's a what?
I call it a sun dog.
Sun dog?
Yep, a sun dog.
What cause is that?
A lot of times it's off of the the plane trails.
What, the orange that you have?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought that was the sun kicking behind the clouds. Yeah, hilarious.
that's a bright one there. Little rainbow.
Yeah, it's fading.
Yeah, see all the trails in the from
Yeah.
the planes? They seem to be leaving a lot of the,
Oh, yeah.
you know, they spread out and they actually create clouds. And they tell us we pollute.
Yeah, that's right.
But they say it's odd. It's just water vapor,
Yeah.
right? Well, hey, you got to believe what the government tells you. Otherwise, you're an idiot.
Look at some of the stuff that NASA puts out. It's junk.
Yeah.
Mostly CGI. They even tell you it's an image. It's not an actual picture. So it makes you think. You know, they don't want critical thinkers in this world. They want believers.
Drink the Kool-Aid and
Drink the Kool-Aid and shut up. Yeah, look at it, it's already gone. I've seen those sundogs pop from one side of the sun to the other side too.
a lot of weird stuff up there.
Yeah,
Go on YouTube, you can't believe what people send in to say
yeah.
video. It's unexplainable stuff.
Well, you see me? They say a man 6 foot tall can only see 3 miles out on the horizon. See those islands?
Yeah.
They're 4.8. Yesterday I was down here and got them crystal clear. It was better visibility at 2 feet, 28 inches. At 4.84 miles actually is what it is.
What's the zoom on that?
125.
What camera is that?
It's the Coolpix P1000 by Nikon.
Yeah.
And I get boats. There's bird racks out there that are, there's one out there called Cutter's Rock. It's 11.5 miles, something like that. I get it with this camera from here at this height.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff about that.
And it's only 17 feet tall. So how am I catching it? It should be well below the curve. Same way with a lot of the boats that I catch out here. They're way out there. They're tiny little boats in my camera. They're supposed to be well over the curve.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Have a good day.
Drank the Kool-Aid, right? Don't question your authority. Even that right there. Look at
All right, probably the rest of these parts, these other parts, I'm just going to kind of leave up the natural audio because I can explain things till I'm blue in the face and it doesn't matter. I mean, it is really up to the viewer to decide for themselves, and that's what I always say. It's up to the viewer to decide. And I, again, I gotta say I lost one of my friends because I mirrored a video of that Gary Gunderson or Anderson or the police officer. But even in the comments, I said, you know, hey, you know, I think this guy has scammed the crap out of a lot of people. But still, here again, I lose another subscriber or somebody I thought I was going to become friends with. And that's the thing about YouTube friends. They're there 1 minute and then run you over with the bus the next minute. You know, once you have a disagreement or you don't see eye to eye. I mean, hey, we can't always agree on everything 100%. But I don't want to argue or fight with people about it. But damn, if they're going to be rude to me and obnoxious, well, I have no choice but to kind of be rude and obnoxious back. But, you know, I just got to say, I'm giving in to a lot of this stuff because I just can't, I can't deal with these people. Now, I have this boat here in another video at a higher perspective where it's cut off. Okay, so it's kind of funny when you see these rocks that are barely, actually, they're not very big. They're blocking out a hell of a lot of that boat for being small rocks that are just actually sticking up above the water. I mean, it's not like these things are mountains of rocks. But again, I'm going to let it go to the natural audio and just let it have at it. The only time I'll chime in is if I call one of the bird racks the wrong rack. And birds. Sure, I probably could have got this in a little better focus, folks, but always remember, man, I've been out there for hours filming uh, in this bright Florida sun. It isn't easy, but hey, I do my best, and at times I do get it in a good focus, and you'll see that in some later parts. And then you'll see where I get out of focus again in some later parts.
With a bird compared to the boat. Right. And with a bird's way out there too.
I was careful. I heard it. I saw it. I envy you.
Trying to work two cameras at once.
What?
Trying to work two cameras at once.
This is where I start also looking at the the background, the clouds, how the clouds start to mirror out. And you can see that a lot of times in my videos too, how the clouds are just mirroring themselves. And right there's a good example. And right there, just mirroring off the water, and all that is just being mirrored. And it gets better, folks. It'll even get better than this. Just wait and watch. The next part will be better than this part.
What is the water temperature for Pine Island? It's 66 degrees.
Alright, it does crack me up that, people mistaken this optical illusion as the curvature of Earth. And this is what they've, basically taught us, is that this refraction is what's pulling these objects up and over a curvature, when it's basically just visibility. Having one day a better visibility than another. And of course, you can just look into visibility and the distance, and why would they even say that you can, there's a 13-mile visibility if a man can only see? Look at that boat that's way out there even. I'm not focused on it, but look at that boat way out there. Or actually, you know what? That was Billy Steele's. I'm sorry, that wasn't a boat. That was Billy Steele's rack, all compressed down. Again, the farther the object is, the more compressed it is, or also the angle of light can cause objects to be obscured. Again, thanks for watching. Wait for the next part, folks. It'll even be better than this one. I think you'll like it. And part of it was already shown before. All right, have a good day.